And we're live again. Troy Francis, James Tusk, coming at you from a central London hotel, slightly different backdrop. We had to end the stream prematurely because a power outrage. But anyway, we're back now, so we're continuing on the same old conversation of topics, really, which is to do with what we talked about before. We talked about stoicism, really, weren't we? In the face of dating and how important it is to sort of maintain a kind of stoical, masculine frame as a guy, as difficult as that may be to do.
Well, just also not, but at the same time, not take it too seriously.
Yes,
having fun with it. Having fun with the process. Not overthinking things, enjoying life, enjoying this short experience we have. The concept of animal fatigue, love of fate.
I mean,
the highs, the lows, the blows. The good times, the bad times.
Life is fundamentally absurd, isn't it? I mean, we're sitting here in a very fancy hotel with a large stuffed bird behind us.
I thought that was Sweeney.
You can see there. There's a sort of weird large stuffed bird behind us for no particular reason. And we're just sitting here recording this, or putting out this live stream, talking about this stuff. I mean, life is fundamentally absurd, and I think, as the great Albert Camus, who was also a very keen footballer, apparently, as well as being a philosopher, would say, I mean, you've got to kind of just grasp that absurdity, really, and just kind of run with it, because there is no, unless you believe in a particular higher power, particular religion, whatever, there is no meaning to any of this. It's all random. It's all fun. It's all nonsense, basically.
Well, you create your meaning, don't you?
Exactly. So you have to create your meaning. And I mean, do you think that's where a lot of people kind of go off the rails, though? Because they're unable somehow, they don't create a meaning. And then it's, particularly people with money or celebrities and stuff like that, suddenly you're given all this freedom. You're like, fuck, what do I do,
Well, me.
Well, yeah, exactly.
My search for meaning over the last 7 years took me all over the globe, and I still haven't found it.
I still haven't.
But it's been the process has been the beauty of it, and I've seen and done a lot of crazy stuff, and it's been an experience and a half, and that's all life is really. It's something to be experienced. Enjoy the ride, gentlemen. Buy the ticket, take the ride. Not to be nihilistic about it. We're not saying give up on everything. We're saying find what you love and let it kill you, right? The Kelsey quote, find what you're passionate about. The only way you can do that is by experimenting with lots of different things. Life
including snuff.
Yeah, life is an experiment, right? Life is it's to be experienced. Expose yourself to more experience. Try lots of different things. Be almost like a scientist on yourself. See how you respond to different things. See if you get in a flow state with it. See if you vibe with it.
Yeah.
And maybe a lot of stuff that you think you'd like, you try and you're not that fussed about.
Yeah.
And there'll be random stuff that you really like. I mean, and there's no right or wrong. It's about figuring yourself out, playing this character, playing this avatar that you've been born into and you had no choice over to the best of its ability. And fundamental self-acceptance and self-worth are key to that. And that's obviously a journey itself. But I think it starts all with approaching women, really, because I think women are the Trojan horse to self-discovery. Torero said it, and I agree with it. We think it's about finding a hot girl to make ourselves feel better. And you go through the rigmarole of learning game and actually doing that, and then you realise you're the same bloke. Nothing's changed. You've got the same issues, same hang-ups, and the women aren't going to complete you, and you realise there's something deeper than that. But until you've gone through that process of actually, sleeping with quite a few women and kind of not mastering seduction, but getting better at it with communication and dating, you're going to you have to tick that box off first and realise what's next beyond that.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just always going to be thinking what was on the other side of the velvet rope, as it were. And actually, what was on the other side of the velvet rope may well be, arguably not always that worth having, or at least not that fulfilling in the way you think it's going to be. But you have to do it. You have to taste those waters before you can really taste those gushing waters. Somebody's written a comment here, probably very rude, but let's see what he says. From the many interviews and conversations you have had with men and women, who do you think is the best model of romantic relationships? Oh, wait a minute. What is the best model of romantic relationships? Marriage or boyfriend, girlfriend, status, separate residences, sleepovers? That's an interesting one.
Personal preference. There's no right or wrong.
Yes. I think one thing I would say is that moving in with somebody is a big deal, and it's probably a bigger deal than you think before you've done it.
Well, the irony is, when I moved in with my ex, it only took, and I've been seeing her on and off for 7 years. It took a total of 7 weeks for me to never see her again after that. Winston Churchill said the key to a happy marriage is never see your wife after 10 p.m.
Yeah,
and never see her before 1 p.m. the next day. And he lived on separate wings of the house when he was Prime Minister of 10 Downing Street, and he stuck to it, and they had a long and happy marriage. So I think this idea of moving in with a woman and spending 24 hours of a day with her is just going to, if you do that with anyone, you're going to get sick to the fucking teeth of bored shitless.
Well, how was it when you and Mr. M lived together for a period? Well, actually, I'd probably be even more intimate with Mr. M than you, because I was at the treehouse with him.
Yeah, you were sharing a hammock with him, mate. The banana hammock routine.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, familiarity breeds contempt.
It does,
unfortunately.
So the way to do it is never be around someone too much, especially someone you're dating. And what we'll try and do is they'll take all your time, and they want to keep you in bed and keep you comfortable. It's almost like a universal test to see if you pussy out and go with it. Because as soon as you do, they go off and fuck someone else.
Yeah, they get fed up with it as well, because of course they also want
novelty, and they want novelty, uncertainty, anticipation, all this stuff. Right, so it's fascinating.
And unfortunately, moving in means that you remove all of those things at a stroke, pretty much.
And the reason to move in would be for kids. I can understand raising a family.
Yeah.
But apart from that, why the fuck would you be living with all that?
Now, to be slightly more polyamourish about it, that's not to say that it can't work and people don't make it work and they don't have a good time and blah, blah, blah. But it's just, you've got to be aware of the dynamics that you're stepping into, I think. I think too many guys just think, okay, right, I met this girl, right, we see each other for 6 months, okay, box ticked, on to the next. It's just the next automatic step. And what you've got to realise is it's a big step, because as we just said, effectively, that if you think about the key triggers of desire and lust and all of that stuff,
uncertainty and scarcity,
all of those things, and you're basically taking those things away, right, in one go, because she knows basically where maybe you travel a lot for business, okay, that's slightly different, but she knows where you are every second of the day. She sees your dirty underwear on the floor, all that kind of cliche bollocks. Any mystery that you had is sort of lost, and she knows that she's got you under the thumb, basically.
You see too much of each other. You see the mystery's gone.
Yeah.
Did you ever read that book, Mating in Captivity, by Ethan Brown?
No, I need to.
I mean, that kind of covers the premise, and her argument is actually, if you understand the stuff that we're talking about, you can keep it fresh. It's a conscious effort of both parties to work on it and keep it fresh, which is obviously not the easiest thing to do.
No.
Because it takes two to tango, and you might be willing to work on it, but maybe the partner isn't, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, people, you do hear about this stuff, don't you? In the mainstream, people trying to keep it fresh. And that's why people start going to bondage shops and buying like kinky outfits and like cringy swingers parties in Croydon and stuff. But I mean, I
can never get around. I can't get around my head around this idea of a hot wife and seeing your wife get banged. I just can never. And I've been on the receiving end. I wasn't a hot wife dressed up getting banged by Mrs. Doubtfire. I was the banger or the bangy. Banger.
Yes, you were the bull, I think they call it.
And the guy, the dudes who were there, whose wives or wags they're visibly getting off on it, but I personally don't get it.
Well, I think it's a pretty niche thing, I reckon, to be fair.
I don't think it is. It seems to be. Well, I'm on a couple of grey area apps, and I seem to get a lot of requests for that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Field.
Name
drop the app.
Yeah.
What has been done?
Yeah. But there seems to be a bit of an appetite for it.
Seemingly so. Maybe it's kind of like the ultimate form of letting go, right?
Yeah.
The Brad Pitt with the steering wheel in the movie Fight Club, right? Just let go. But I just don't know, man. I'm too Scorpio. I'm too jealous.
I think you're better off just not being in a relationship, really, to be honest. Although if you genuinely get off on that, then fine, whatever. But
no judgment. If that floats your boat, absolutely go for it. But from my point of view, I don't get the appeal of that.
I don't get the appeal of that. Funnily enough, I was in a really, really dodgy club in Berlin one time, and for some reason, I was there with this girl I was seeing at the time, and it was just a random Wednesday night, and we saw all kinds of weird shit going on that night. It was really funny. But on all the TV screens, they had this like cuckold porn playing, and it was basically that. It was basically like some dude coming in and banging the wife, but literally they would position. So the guy, the simpy like the husband guy would be laying there like that. But the position the girl on top, and the other guy would be fucking her. And sometimes what would happen in the videos? This is slightly not safe for work, but I'll tell it anyway. Sometimes what she would do before she starts having sex with the new guy is she'll put one of these cock device things on, those things on the husband's dick, so he couldn't even get off on it.
Really?
Yeah.
But the guy's enjoying it.
Well, he's meant to be enjoying it, but then he can't even enjoy it because
what's his face doing? Does he like the whole scenario?
I think so. Well, I think so. Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't, unless he's forced at gunpoint to be doing it, which is awful in itself.
Yeah. Some strange stuff happens in Berlin, man. I mean, it's an odd.
Well, we should do a debauch weekend over there.
It's always
anything goes club night over in Berlin, shouldn't we? Really?
Yeah. Have a day off, but I have a day off, but I'm deeply
unmotivated. Well, don't sit there hand shandying. Get out and speak to some people.
Yeah.
Go to the gym, speak to some people, figure out what you want to do with your limited time on planet Earth.
Yeah.
It sounds like you don't know what you want.
What do you guys think are the main negatives of paying for sex workers over genuine relationships?
No chase
sex.
And no snuggles.
Yeah, and lack of genuine desire, really. I mean, what I think what guys really want, it for the most part, is
to be wanted.
To be wanted for a woman to actually want to be there and actually desire them. And I mean, if you're handing over some crumpled notes and she's kind of doing it with her head half turned away just for the money, then that's obviously not ideal. I mean, there are shades of grey in all of these things, of course, but as anyone who's seen the movie Pretty Woman will know. But I mean, for the most part, if it's a fairly transactional thing, she doesn't really want to be there. She's only doing it because she needs the cash for her.
The shades of grey, there is, but essentially the chase, the bang, and the snuggle, the holy trifecta is what you need to remember, which is the thing Cold Approach gives you is the chase. So that seduction dance, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen?
It's the uncertainty, isn't it?
The uncertainty, right? Obviously the sex part, biological connection. You're both attracted to each other because there's no transaction involved. There's no money involved. It's genuine. And then the snuggle, the emotional connection, that oxytocin cuddle state you get in that honeymoon lust phase with a new woman. I mean, that's the best cocktail of drugs to be released in your brain, you can get. And with Cold Approach, you get all three of those.
Yes.
With hookers, pay by the clock in an Amsterdam brothel, you're missing two of those things.
Yes.
With the grey area apps,
and you might even miss three because I told that story when I paid for my mate. People on watching my channel will know him, Paul. I paid for him to go to a grimy establishment one time. Gave him the 50 crumpled notes. He went up there. Okay, I waited outside for about 5-10 minutes. He comes back out again. Oh, God, I couldn't perform. I was like, all right, so you got none of it. You got none of it.
That's hilarious.
And apparently the woman was taking the piss out of him a bit as well, which is not very nice. But,
well, I sent my mate, two stories from Amsterdam. One bloke was telling me the whole plane journey. He shall remain nameless, but how much he was like into his wife or his girlfriend to be fiance.
Yeah,
and she's a really cool girl, and he was historically a really good friend of mine. He was telling me on the plane how the entire journey, how he was not going to go anywhere near the red light district, which obviously was a sign that he was going to go.
Yes, immediately.
And he didn't even drop his bags at the hotel. Went straight to the red light district, banged 4 in a row. And then he was out of money, so I went, oh mate, there's a really hot one there. Sent him in, and he disappeared in for half an hour, and outside it was a blue light. So he'd obviously porked a fucking tranny as his
Oh right.
And the other one was, if you've gone to Amsterdam before, you'll see it's all a tiered system, right? You get the stunners at the top and the prime real estate windows, 50 euros for 20 minutes or even more now. And it goes down a level to the grime busters.
Yes.
And one of my mates was a different guy, absolutely off his tits on magic mushrooms, but for some reason that made him incredibly horny. He also had no money. So he was like, I can't get laid, mate. I don't care who it is. And I had €5 in my pocket.
Yeah.
And we went around and everyone was saying, obviously not. And we went past this one of the windows, a darker skinned lady, absolute juggernaut of her. I mean, her porn star nickname would have been the Kremlin, the size of her. Just one of the worst, most unattractive physically human beings I've ever seen. He went straight in there. €5 on off his tits on magic mushrooms.
Amazing.
Hilarious. He was in there for a good hour, so I don't know what he was up to.
Must have made that night. €5. This is the
I
best
mean, the look of kind of horror on his face the next day showed that he'd obviously sobered up and realised like what he'd done, and it's just
terrible. So yeah, not to be recommended really. Although you know, as we said,
well, the grey area apps I do want to talk about that I do
Yeah.
dabble with sometimes, which I actually think are very useful as a supplement to cold approach, because if you know you got a guaranteed bang 2 times a week with girls that actually there's a mutual attraction there because they turn down men on the sites, and you pay a very, very minimal fee, if not pay. You actually, that's more of a nuanced in between where
yes,
there is genuine attraction often. And what I'll do is I'll often meet the girl and I'll run game on her. And then the next time I see her, it's a way in. And the next time I see her, there'll be no transactional element at all. And she will actually be messaging me 90% of the time. I just leave it for 48 hours on litmus test. The girls are messaging me to get in touch. I make it very clear I'm not paying for anything. I'll cover her taxis, cover her drinks or food if we go out, but nothing else. And I've actually flipped them from a kind of grey area go into a normal play. Yeah. So there's ways of doing it there actually as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think people are very black and white with thinking around this stuff a lot of the time. Any more questions, guys? And by the way, if you're watching this on X, come over to YouTube and
Television X.
But yeah.
So where should they be joining us in the world this year?
They should be joining us in Warsaw.
My favourite number of years, 69, has just arrived.
They should be joining us in Warsaw from the 1st to 4th of August 2024.
Why should they come to Warsaw?
Because it's just awesome, man. I mean, it's, you know, we've taught there for the last 6-7 years, whatever. I've been there many times. I spent extended periods of time out there. It's just a fantastic city. It's very compact. It's very walkable. Obviously, it goes without saying, people there, women there, are very attractive, of all different ilks, from obviously Polish, but also Ukrainian. Many
Ukrainian spinner. Where did that term Ukrainian spinner come?
That was old. What's his name?
Roy Walker.
Roy. Yeah, the spinner. You know,
what a let down of a human he turned out to be.
Well, indeed.
Hey, rest in peace.
Yeah. So then Belarusians and people from other areas of Eastern Europe, whatever.
And also a really good lineup of coaches, actually. Myself, obviously you, Joe, the Australian coach, a guy called Brooding Sea, who some of you may know, who's a good coach, and a couple of other guys. John Matrix, he's been around.
One of the OGs.
Yeah, and a couple of other coaches as well who are really, really good. And it's going to be a fantastic group of guys, a number of guys we work with in Bogota. A really cool lineup. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to be there from the 29th of July till the 6th of August.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to come in at any time during that period. And if you can't afford the full boot camp, or you can't get the time off work, or you just don't see the value in it, although I'd recommend doing the full Thursday to Sunday, just get in touch, drop us an email info@jamestusk.com with the title Warsaw Immersion, or troy@realtroyfrancis.com with the title Warsaw Immersion. Include your WhatsApp number. We can have a discussion around maybe doing something a little bit more bespoke. A couple of hours here, a couple of hours here. Film you, sit down, analyze that footage with you. You get to keep the footage. The world's best feedback you're going to get is when you have someone who actually understands the stuff filming you. So you've got 4K visual and audio synced, and then you see yourself and watch yourself, and you analyze with the coach the mistakes, and then you go out back again and then correct those mistakes. And it's actually a very simple learning process when you do it like that.
Because it's often the case, you know, guys will sometimes say, well, this stuff doesn't work because I've gone out and I've already done 500 approaches and I've got
it's because they're just doing it wrong.
They're just doing it very badly, or they're just making very...
And there's a complete resistance getting feedback, which I just don't understand. Because any other skill set, you get a coach, don't you? But with social skills, it seems to be like, oh no, I'm not going to. I have to do it on my own. It's like, what a stupid.
I mean, a lot of the guys we work with, I mean, and this book is testament to that. You know, a lot of the guys will come for return sessions because they see the value in it. So they'll come and they'll basically.
We get a very high ROI on repeat clients.
But equally, even if you just did one, it would exponentially increase your progress so hugely that it's worth doing just
even if you just did 2 hours and actually got filmed, and so you could sit down. And we don't use the filming, we give that to you. It's included in the price of the training. But just watching yourself and getting some feedback from us on that, or you could just keep the footage and just watch it yourself. You don't have to get feedback from us.
We could do it. We could sit down with you, or we could do a Zoom call with you another time or something like that. But the thing is, it's invaluable, and it's slightly cringing. Because you have this perspective of how you think you're doing it versus the reality.
but it's ultimate growth mindset. You win or you learn, and it's the way to level up.
It's
the most effective.
Well, I found when I started doing shooting infields, which is a bit of, one of those slightly contentious topics, but going out there and filming yourself doing it. I mean, it's cringe as hell.
The old rustling bush routine.
It's cringe as hell in a way, watching yourself. Although I don't mind it that much.
I don't mind it that much if I'm dressed in a suit for some reason. If I'm swimming around in a suit looking good, I'm getting spectacularly good.
It's great. It's
kind of
like
ego,
the ultimate narcissist's pleasure watching it back on video. But there were also things that I watched and I was like, geez, I'm really. One of them was actually, it was things like laughing at my own jokes too much. I noticed at the beginning I was doing that a lot, and you could just see, and I thought, fuck, that's really cringe. I've got to stop doing that. So I leveled that down. It's very little things that you don't realize that you're doing until either you have it pointed out for you or you see yourself.
Self-awareness, I've always said, is one of the hardest traits to cultivate, especially with dating and stuff. And the simple fact is, if you're not getting the results you want with women right now, there is stuff that needs to change. And so, are you aware of what needs to change? No, hence why you're watching this. And the best way to become aware of what you need to change is get someone who's not emotionally involved in your life, who can objectively look at it and point out what needs changing.
So not your
saving your most valuable assets, which is your time, your attention, and your energy, which every day diminishes until you die.
Yes.
It never gets more.
Yes.
So wake up, all gentlemen. Stop sitting there watching us chat shit for years on end and not taking action.
Yeah.
It's a waste of fucking time.
It's it's like we said on a previous stream last week on video. We had one guy telling us how basically he felt like he'd almost died and been reborn through the process of what we did with him, which wasn't human sacrifice.
We'll call him the Phoenix.
but sounds overly dramatic. It kind of was kind of a, I mean, I was taken aback when he said it like that. But the reality is, you don't know what you don't know, and until you get this stuff pointed out to you, you're just living in a paradigm that is different to guys who are really, really successful with this stuff. Either they've been taught or they just magically somehow naturally know this stuff. Most guys don't. And until you get it pointed out to you, it's very, very hard. It could take you a lifetime to figure it out.
Most men just never figure it out, and they end up settling for some average bird. There's a reason there's a 65% divorce rate in the UK. 85% of the time instigated by women is because men haven't bothered to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
And learning seduction, social skills, emotional intelligence, social intelligence are the most important skill sets you can learn alongside self-control and self-awareness.
Absolutely. Indeed.
And Alexander has arrived.
Alexander Good is here in the house.
They've upgraded to more elegant birds. Yes, they have.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, good to see you, Alex. Hope is all.
We'll be seeing him in Rio Carnivore, of course.
Absolutely, indeed.
Which will be excellent. Yeah. And I'd love to have seen him before, but he's doing a solo trip to Colombia.
Great stuff, man.
The irony is with Bogota, all of the guys in Bogota have separately gone back to Bogota without communicating to each other. All back to Bogota.
Yeah, but it is such a great place, and that's obviously testament to you, because I think you were one of the.
Well, I just ended up there on a cocaine hangover in the middle of nowhere. I didn't know where I was.
Right.
Flown off some flight. That was it. And I was like, where is this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just sort of stayed there for a bit.
Yeah.
And I realised, this is quite good for dating. And
yeah. And it is a bit of a gem, because I think obviously people, including Mr. Torero, have been to Medellin before, but nobody ever really talked about Bogota.
You want to be going to places not filled with gringos, because automatically, that's why we take guys in Mexico to not Tulum, not Playa del Carmen, not Cancun, where you're competing with every other Tom, Dick and quarterback, and you've got no value being a foreigner. You go to Mexico City, Guadalajara, or Monterrey, where there's no foreigners. So automatically you're a shiny object.
Yeah.
Play the sexual market to the best of your ability. All is fair in love and war. It's the most ruthless market on earth. No one's giving you a free lunch with women,
Exactly. Unless you're
Ronald McDonald.
50 years old this year.
Or the Colonel.
50 years old this year, McDonald's.
Only 50?
Well, so
Fuck
basically...
me, they've done well for only a 50-year-old company. That's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're all around the globe.
Yeah.
The golden M.
Yeah, that's what Tusk and team's going to be like in 50 years' time. There's going to be a golden team. There's going to be a golden phallus in every city in the world, where people will go to get trained in dating skills.
It's never too late to turn this around. By the way, Colonel Sanders set up KFC at 65, became a millionaire at 67. Do you reckon he then got laid like a rock star because he from doing that?
I would imagine I would imagine his opportunities increased significantly. know.
He's pouring the KFC gravy on the floor all over the place. Frying
Or
those.
you could just give them free, free KFC bucket for a blowjob.
I do love KFC. It's one of my kryptonite foods. If I start eating it, I can't stop eating it. Then I feel really guilty. A bit like Krispy Kremes. I can't stop eating those.
Yeah, but what about just the chicken? If you have just the chicken or the fries,
but it's deep fried nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. It's not really,
what's your kryptonite food? If you start eating, you just can't stop.
I mean, I find chocolate really hard. Actually, I find like
dark, light,
just regular
white.
No, not
Milky
white.
Bar.
No. Just like Cadbury's, just regular chocolate.
Dairy.
Cadbury's
is pretty good.
It's pretty addictive. So my main thing, because getting rid of the, I mean, I've progressed a little bit, but knocking out the carbs and stuff, I don't find too hard. I'm not sitting there going, I really want some chips or really want some rice. But sweet stuff, and particularly chocolate, I'm just like, I've just got to be very careful. Just like,
it's better just not to eat it, isn't it? Because the problem is you eat a bit and you just then will not stop eating it.
Yeah,
and it's easy just to avoid it, isn't it?
Well, it's like anything with habits. It's sort of like once you
better just to replace the habit with something else.
Well, like with you very kindly bought me, some of this stuff.
Is it actually called Mr. Snuff as well?
No, it's called Mr. McCrystals.
It's very good
Snuff. Yeah, very old school sort of English looking thing, and it's
£3 a pack, so fuck all.
Yeah.
What does a pack of cigarettes cost these days?
Oh mate, there's 15 quid.
15 quid?
Yeah.
For the lung burners.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, when you come to water with us, if you want to take up a fatal habit, then it's a lot cheaper over there. But it's extremely.
No, we'll be force feeding people this on nights out because it gives you a little nicotine rush.
It's good stuff. So,
and it's not addictive in the sense you want to sit around doing it all day.
It's like, so if you're going to have to do a bad habit, it's like choosing the worst bad habit, and then maybe trying to taper off that, I guess. And the thing with this is it's been quite effective so far, rather than smoking cigarettes, which is the worst.
Well, you made the transition very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I had this over the weekend and I didn't feel any desire to light up at all.
That's exactly what you want.
So,
so that's what it says on the tin, like it's in paint, literally.
Yeah. So that's a good thing.
So what else we got coming up? So you got Warsaw 29th to the 29th of July to the 6th of August. Pop in whenever. We're both going to be there. Rio Carnivore is the big one I want to talk about as well. It's running from the 28th of February till the 8th of March. I would recommend coming in 26th of February. Give yourself 2 days to settle in to around the 10th of March. The area to book accommodation is Leblon. The reason this one's a time-sensitive one is we've already got 7 guys signed up out of 10. And also accommodation goes months in advance, literally. So really, if you're interested in that, get in touch, send us an email, info@jamestusk.com, title Rio Carnival, or Troy at realtroyfrancis.com, title Rio Carnival, and put your WhatsApp number. We'll talk you through the details. It's going to be awesome. We do a mixture of street parties around this area called Leblon, which is kind of like the Mayfair or the Manhattan of Brazil. It's super safe. And all the hottest women come into Rio because it's one of the flagship carnivals. And then we go to these private parties as well. We buy tickets for. It's about $100 for a guy. Open bar all night, open food, really luxurious setting. Women don't pay. And it's a 70% ratio of men to women. So as a gringo, they're very gringo friendly in Brazil. Incredibly hot, feminine women. They love foreigners. So if you're charging around approaching as a foreigner in one of these parties where you've got the pre-selection element of the fact that you've been pre-vetted as a guy because you paid the money, you're well-dressed, you're speaking English, and it's a 70% ratio in your favour, 70% women, 30% men. It's awesome.
Yes.
And you can get 15, 20 contacts of some of the hottest girls you've ever got and either follow up with them in Rio or just stay in touch with them, and they often invite you to go down to their home city to meet them there. It's fantastic.
I mean, Brazilian women are some of the best looking on the planet,
and they're so friendly. The culture is so social, and that's why I love taking guys there for anxiety, who have social anxiety, because everyone's just being social.
All right.
There's no anxiety. It's all about approaching.
So, devil's advocate though, because obviously Brazilian blokes can also be in good shape, decent looking. Is there a competition element there, or is it not?
Not really.
Not what you think?
Not really. They're pretty friendly. They're pretty outgoing. Brazil is a chill place.
Yeah,
people are pretty chill.
Yeah.
I've had it many times where I've hit on a girl and the guys come up and in the Anglo sphere they start a fight with you. In Brazil, he's just calmly said, "Hey man, she's with me, but come and meet her friends."
Yeah.
It's the ultimate wingman.
Yeah.
Just no jealousy at all, right?
Yeah.
Just super chill.
Yeah.
I loved it. I learned Portuguese just because of Brazil. Just
Yeah.
because of Brazil Carnival.
Yeah.
And then spent longer in Brazil going backwards and forwards. It's very rare I don't take clients there who don't fall in love with it immediately. So that is the one to really look at. And it is time sensitive because when I booked my accommodation last week for Rio Carnival, on Airbnb, the accommodation in the good area, Leblon, was already looking sparse. So I'd really recommend if you plan to come to that, which is the ultimate one. It's the only one. I've been traveling full time the world for 8 years. It's the only event I've ever been to 8 years in a row.
Right.
Or the only location, Brazil.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. So those are the two to really look at the moment. Warsaw, up and coming. Get your ass over, no excuse. You know, it's really easy flight from anywhere in Europe. Come down for as little as long as you want. And then Rio Carnival, 26th of Feb till the 10th of March. It's an awesome experience. And obviously, February, Europe, it's shit weather.
Yes.
35 degrees in Rio at the time. Perfect weather, perfect setting. What is the not to love about that?
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, Google it and you'll soon find out. But send us an email if you're interested in joining us. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, so we've said it already, haven't we? But it's tryoutrealtryfrancis.com or info@jamestusk.com for any of those events or anything else. Is there anything else coming up? I know we talked about a couple of bits in
we're going to be.
We got London actually. We are going to be doing
London
a special event.
high-end VIP experience, sitting on tables with lots of hot women. We know one of London's top promoters. He rolls out Bill's air inside with about 50 women. He's always calling me out, saying, "James, we need more sausage." Which is very, very rare to hear from a guy in London. But he takes out hordes of women, so we'll take clients out, sitting on the table. You pre-selected, you're able to bring in more women. All comped, bottle service, some of London's top nightclubs. Really, really good. Different type of experience that's going to be, but obviously doing high-end day game in Mayfair, Chelsea, some of these areas as well, where you get lots of high-end English birds and Russians, Eastern Europeans. If you'd like to hear more about that, send us an email. It's going to be in September. I believe the date's the 13th or 15th of September.
I think that's what we're looking at. Yeah.
But a different type of clientele. It's no riff-raff. It is higher priced.
Yes.
Really, probably guys over the age of 30, 35.
It's going to
they're not virgins. You're not beginners.
It's more of an application process with this one. So if you're interested, just drop us an email, just write London or London Boot Camp or something.
London Town.
Yeah, and then London Town. And then we'll get on the phone with you and check you're the right fit, because we're not taking that many people either. It's fairly.
I think it's going to be four max.
As you would imagine. So there's a few things here. How much do you pay for a cigar? Well, they're pretty expensive, man. I mean, in London, you'd be lucky to get you might get something for 25 quid, but you
25, is that what it costs these days?
But no, I mean, but that's cheap. I mean, you'd be looking more like 40 quid.
For a cigar?
Yeah.
Better to stick on this.
Up to
better to stick on that.
Yeah.
Honestly, isn't it? I mean, what's the
up to over 100.
Cigars are one of those things I've always wanted to like, but I've just never liked.
I pretend to like them from time to time. I'm not
sure.
sure.
People are obsessed with them. I've turned down a few cigar sessions.
Yeah. Walking note. What should I do if I'm dead broke and no wings?
Well, sort your fucking life out. Quite frankly.
Yes, indeed. I mean, you don't. It's saying that. You don't necessarily need wings. You could go out and start talking to people.
But the dead broke thing is right. So your finance out. You've got to be self-sufficient financially as a man.
Yeah. I'm about 4 hours from NYC.
Okay, useless information. I don't get
it's probably.
I have wings available, but it's not a free service. It's taking me 10 years to cultivate these dudes. I'm just going to have them.
If he lives 4 hours outside NYC, it's probably a pretty shitty. I would imagine pretty shitty location, unless you can get into. Well, no. I mean further. So unless you can get into Manhattan, and then that's where you want to be. But you need to sort your life circumstances out first, really. In saying that, you don't need wings. You can go out and just talk to people. I mean, that's kind of how it works. But it sounds like there's bigger problems at play behind that. And he makes another comment in a second. But I'm interested in your Edge course. Do you have any future launching plan?
Yeah, we do potentially. Get in touch, send us an email. We can put you on the wait list for the next one to open up. We don't know when it's going to be. Probably towards the end of the year, but no set plans. But we will do another. Yeah. So again, info@jamestusk.com or troy@realtroyfrancis.com. Any more questions, put them in the chat. We'll keep going for a little bit. This is going to be me and some random dude from India in like 12 years. Not sure what that means, but I think this guy's, and then upstate is shitty. Yeah, upstate New York. Yeah, man. I mean, Shall I order another water?
Yeah, please. I mean,
for the troops.
Really, the best place to do this kind of thing is in a large metropolitan city. Now, New York is actually very New York City is actually very, very good, because there's a huge population. There's a very international population. There's lots of great places to go out. You know, there's lots of attractive women there from all over the world, etc., etc. I mean, it's kind of got everything you need, really. If you're in upstate, you know, New York State somewhere, I don't know it particularly well, but I mean, if you're in some small town somewhere upstate, you don't have that access to that number of people, then it's just in the end, it's kind of a numbers game, right? You know, the fewer shots at the goal you've got, as you might say, the fewer opportunities you're going to have. I mean, it stands to reason, right? So ideally you want to be somewhere where there's a lot of potential targets, if I can put it in that crude way. And secondly, what it sounds like, though, is that there's other issues at play here, because obviously if money's an issue, and I'm not saying you need to be a multimillionaire, it's not like that, but, you know, if money is an issue, then that is something you need to look at, you know? And guys will often say, well, what do I do first? What do I look at first? Do I look at the finances, and then do I look at the, the dating afterwards? And really, you kind of need to do both. You kind of need to do both at the same time. And the reason for that is because the burden of performance is always on men, right? You know, the burden of performance is always on us. So we need to have the social skills, you know, we need to have the riz, as it were. But equally, we also need to, you know, have the wherewithal to pay for some stuff. I mean, not talking about buying her extravagant meals or gifts or anything like that. But, you know, you got to be able to, if you're going to take her on a date, you should pay for the date, right? Money doesn't necessarily get you the girl, but it's certainly going to get you access to more high quality women. It's going to put you in the periphery of those women, and that's only a good thing. But just for yourself, man. Anyway, I mean, don't worry about dating. I mean, just for yourself, you want to make sure that side of your life, whatever you can do to get that sorted, you need to work as hard on that as possible. The girls in NYC are quite masculine. I do prefer alternative blue hair type chicks, which are everywhere, but I feel like they're the hardest to date. Well, I mean, I think, you know, I've been in New York pretty recently. I was there last year. So pretty recently, I was there a few times, spent several weeks there. And, you know, I think for me, it's a pretty mixed bag, to be honest. I think there are all different types. I mean, you've got Park Avenue type girls, you've got Upper East Side girls who aren't like that at all. You know, you've got some blue-haired hipsters, you know, down in the Village or down in, you know, Alphabet City or whatever, you know, whatever they call it, the Lower East Side for sure. And then it's Soho, places like that. Greenwich Village is a bit of a mixed bag. But you've got people from all over the planet. So I don't think it's like there's one particular type of girl that you would get in NYC. I mean, look at it's like London, right? I mean, you've got all different kinds of women here, from very rich, you know, very, very good families and all that kind of stuff. You've got very, I don't know, it's alternative women. You've got kind of chabby women. I mean, it's just all different kinds. So it's like a box of chocolates, really. And obviously you select, you know, who you want to go for. Any more questions from anybody, by the way? If you're watching this and you're watching this on X, which you might well be, then please come over to YouTube, subscribe to my channel, but also comment in the comment box on in the chat on YouTube, because then we can see your comments. If you're on X and you've got a comment or a question, we're not going to be able to see it. Okay, so come over onto YouTube in order to do that. Williamsburg, Brooklyn has a good nightlife. Yeah, absolutely. You know, Brooklyn's good. Top 3 places for day gaming in your opinion? Well, I mean, I would have to say Warsaw, of course. And yes, once again, you should be joining us in Warsaw from the 1st of August to the 4th of August 2024. Email myself, troy@realtroyfrancis.com or info@james.tusk.com for more details on that. We've got a couple of spots left, but they are going quickly because it's one of the most popular events that we do. So Warsaw, within Europe, I would say Warsaw is fucking brilliant, fantastic. London is also very, very, very good. Despite, you know, the criticisms we've made of it before, it is really the biggest city in Europe. And there's a lot of fun to be had here. There's a lot of opportunities here, just through the dint of the sheer size of the population and the sort of diversity of the different types of people who are here. So that's really, really good as well. And then if you're going further afield, we mentioned Colombia already. I think Bogota, Colombia is fantastic as well. Very attractive people there, lots and lots of opportunities, etc. Very, contrary to what people think, very safe city, very walkable city, lots of cool nightlife, etc., etc. So those would be 3. I mean, it depends whereabouts in the world you're looking, really. But you've got a couple in Europe and then one in Latin America. I'd say those are my favorites. I mean, there are also places that are a bit more tricky at the moment, like the 2 countries who are at war right now, Ukraine and Russia, have also been very, very good. Obviously, there are barriers as far as those places are concerned. You can get into Russia. James is going quite soon. You can also travel to Ukraine if you wish. But, obviously at the moment, we all know the situation that's going on. Beyond that, Barcelona can be good. Parts of Italy can be good. I mean, there's so many places. But an important thing as well is that you really need to go out and test it for yourself, because there could be a place like, say, for example, people will say something like, oh yeah, Riga is really good. And then I went to Riga and I was like, I didn't think it was that great. I thought, yeah, it's all right. It's not, nothing amazing. Same thing with Helsinki. They really like Helsinki. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. It just doesn't quite gel with me. So it's going to depend on a number of factors. It's partly your luck. It's partly who you happen to meet. It's partly, your physical type, whether you have a particular advantage there or not. There's all these different factors that sort of come into play that make it very hard to give a precisely definitive answer to a question like that. But, there are certainly places, I've mentioned certainly now some of the places that I think are really, really good. So, do you sell edge recording video? Well, I mean, if you are interested in buying a copy of the previous course that we've just done, then drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, and we could look at selling you that. I mean, the way that it works is that it's open for a period of time, and then it closes again. So it's like a university semester, right? And it is currently closed, or at least we might do a couple of other little bits and pieces, but it's basically closed. We were running it for months and months and months this year, and at the moment it's not running. Okay, so we're not strictly speaking, we're not open, okay, for business. But if you're interested in buying it and looking at the recordings, because you got like a bunch of pre-recorded video content, plus we did a load of webinars with the students, which are also all there as well, then we can talk about that. If you drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, we can talk about giving you access to that for a fee. But what you're almost better off doing really is waiting until we open it up properly again, and it's live, and then we drip the content each week, and we do webinars each week, and it's a proper course, and you're involved with a community of people, which you won't be when you do it in the way, if you're just buying the videos. Too broke to leave the States. Okay, maybe I'm too broke to stay here. Yeah. No one talks about Reykjavik for day game. Well, I've never been there, so I can't really. Is it good? Would you recommend it? Let us know what you think. Troy, edge has quite a different meaning in the States, at least amongst the youth. Well, I mean, whatever, man. I mean, what meaning are you talking about? Are you talking about like straight edge or what? I mean, I think it's relatively clear. I mean, we have a lot of American clients, and they got what we were talking about, so I don't think it was problematic for people to understand what we were talking about when we named it that. But yeah, let us know what other kind of interpretations you've got of the term. Any more questions on dating or any of this stuff, please put it into the chat. James is, I think, getting us some more water, but he'll be back soon. As I say, really, what you need to be doing is coming and joining us in Warszawa on the 1st of August. So come a few days early, like come the 29th or whatever. The boot camp itself will run from the 1st of August until the 4th of August 2024. So drop us an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com or info@jamestusk.com, and we can discuss further details. Put your WhatsApp details in there as well. spaces are limited now. We're basically sold out. There's a couple of spots. I think there's one spot left or something. So, just drop us an email because it's going to go very quickly. Somebody's written, how much does it cost to get a day game license? Well, mate, it's like the knowledge. It's like the knowledge you have to learn. Firstly, you have to learn all of the streets in all of in the main.
Move up slightly just so I can be in the shot.
Yeah, you have to like the knowledge what the London taxi drivers use. They have to learn all of the different streets in London, all the interconnections. You have to do that for Warsaw, Prague, Helsinki, and Bogota and London. So you've got to memorize all of that. And then there's a test. There's a proficiency test, and then possibly you might get accepted for a license, but it's quite a long process. And it also costs $10,000, and that's just a sign-up fee.
Well, no, is that what we charge for big camps? $3,797.
Yeah. Exactly. So join us in Warsaw. I think the questions are sort of petering out. We got 93 people in it, but everyone seems a bit shy. So unless anyone's got anything else, we might call it. But any method to cling onto my hair or shave beard or.
Depends what your face looks like. I mean, look, hair transplants are very viable in Turkey as an option if you want to keep your hair or shave your head, stay them.
Yeah,
get on with it.
I would probably get the Midnight Express over to Istanbul and explore the transplant option. I mean, I know that our colleague Dave Lee, who we work with a lot, who's an expert on male hormones and all that stuff, he's very, very, very much against finasteride. He thinks it's
really
well. He says there's some very.
Minoxidil, is that the one he recommends?
I don't know if he recommends that actually. To be honest, we'd have to ask him. But finasteride, he says, is very, very bad. There's some very bad side effects associated with that. I mean, again, I'm not an expert, so I don't know. But I would proceed with caution. I'd probably look at the hair transplant route, or just
depends on personal preference.
Yeah, really. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of bald guys who do fine, so it's not a deal breaker by any means. But I think, I mean, what most guys tend to do is that if they haven't got hair on the top, they will keep a beard, and I think that's probably sensible. I mean, I think that probably. Finasteride is bad. Okay. Well, on that note,
let's stop talking about finasteride and call it a day. We'll see you in Warsaw or Rio Carnival or both or somewhere else, maybe London. Send us an email, info@jamestusk.com with any title, include your WhatsApp number. Troy@realtroyfrancis.com. Comment beneath this video after you've seen it if there's any topics you'd like us to discuss. I'm in London for another couple of days. We'll probably do one more of these before we part ways. So if there's anything pressing on your brains, gentlemen, just comment below the video, and if 3 or 4 people say the same thing, we'll do a live stream specifically on that topic.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. It could be texting. It could be what to do on a date. It could be what to do if she ghosts you. It could be, I mean, just any topic like that. Anything that's on your mind at the moment about approach anxiety. Even we'll even stoop to talk about approach anxiety if necessary. I mean, whatever it is.
Well, that is a big thing, right? The preventive thing for most guys is just not being able to take action. So it's a very real thing, right? Not having your priorities in order and realizing you have to go and speak to women. There's just no way around it. As uncomfortable as it may seem, there's no way around it.
Indeed. So thanks for joining us, and thanks for watching the replay. Give me a like. Do subscribe to the channel on your way out. Subscribe to Tusk and Team as well, and we'll see you guys again very soon. Bye bye.
That was fine.
Hello.
Can we get one more sparkling water?
I will ask my colleague.
Great,
thank you.